Hello, my name is Rebecca, and my cat is my child.
I'm Erica, and it's my dream to go diving with sharks.
I'm Sydney, and I use sarcasm way too much.
I'm Joy, and I really love to cook.
My name's Spivak, and I was born in 2052. Yep.
I'm Corey, and I learned to ski before I learned to read.
And we are leaders!
My top character strength was humor, and my bottom were compassion and patience, which wasn't surprising at all, considering when I have a game plan, I really like to stick to it, and I tend to have a low tolerance for others' lack of understanding, and it tends to hinder my group's success in a lot of situations.
All of my character strengths and weaknesses were pretty expected. However, I did find it fairly interesting that all of my top and bottom strengths were under the same umbrella groups. For example, forgiveness, a strength of mine, and humility, a weakness, were under the category of humanities, which tells me that I am good at relating to others in only certain aspects of life.
For my top character strength, I got bravery. I was both surprised and not surprised because I can be very outspoken and tend to stand up for what I believe in. But I wouldn't call that bravery. But I guess now that I think about it, it makes a lot of sense because sticking to your guns is what bravery is. So I guess it wasn't a surprise after all.
My top strengths were kindness, appreciation of beauty, and bravery, and my bottoms were forgiveness, prudence, and self-regulation. These didn't really surprise me, but they did redefine some things in my life. I tend to put a lot of stuff under a common sense umbrella, and I never really thought that they might be things other people do or don't struggle with. It has been nice to look at these strengths in both me and other people and see them as who we are.
My top VIA character strengths are honesty, leadership, and love. I believe that lying is very low, and I tend to be honest. And I was able to prove and use my leadership skills and my love for others to place in a state competition for a business class. So I think my top 3 character strengths fit me pretty flawlessly.
So curiously enough, in our group, everyone had similar bottom strengths but different top strengths. We all had things like humility, self-regulation at the bottom, but at the top, like Joy had kindness, I had curiosity, Sydney had bravery, so it made for some rather heated discussions in putting this together, but it also forced us to synthesize in some pretty unique ways.
Through the Craig Dunn speech, we came to the conclusion that integrity requires a very balanced type of person, and that being passive is more destructive to a group than it is beneficial. We found this especially true for our own group because through an open discussion, a more solid plan was able to be formed pertaining to our own group project in the end.
The article that resonated the most with me was by John Hope Bryant. He was talking about leading with love. And his idea was that we fear what we don't love, and by knowing a thing or a place or a culture or a person, we can come to love it. So in short, that good leadership is destroying the sort of isolationism and ignorance in us. And I really related to that. I like the idea that we can become better leaders by enriching ourselves.
One of my favorite and most interesting experiences was when we got to talk to the young alumni. It was really reassuring to know that it is possible to get a job after college. I thought both of the young alumni were very informative and reassuring. It was really nice to have some real-world examples of people that were in our shoes at one point in time.
I really enjoyed Amy Appleton's lecture to the class. She helped me to realize that to be a leader, you don't have to fall into typical leadership roles. You can instead be something like the oldest child or simply be thrust into your roles. She also pointed out that reflection is key. Everyone needs to set aside time to reflect and learn, and there seems to be a type of reflection for everyone.
In Conley's article, Introducing a Culture of Civility, he states, good manners is suggested by meaning involving ordinary courtesy or politeness, as opposed to rudeness, decency, and seemliness. I think this is a great quote as it reminds ourselves that no matter where we are in life, we should always think, what am I going to do today that will impact someone's life?
Though I do not agree with a few of their viewpoints in the book, I found a number of interesting things. It talked a lot about common sense ideals and then gave us a strong ground for metacognitive thinking, like the idea of how there are different types of leadership, like altruism or utilitarianism, or different faces of evil. These are things that we all inherently know, but having them brought up and discussed in a book really made me think about them.
Our group dynamic drastically changed due to the service learning. Before it, we hadn't had much time to talk, and we didn't know much about each other's quirks, and it was nice to find those out. Becca adds sound effects to everything she does. Joy is the group mother, and Beck made us all laugh throughout the day. Now we're all a big, happy family.
The service learning project forced me to be social because otherwise I would have kept to myself at a desk in class. Through this project, I was able to see my group members' skills better so I could see where they could help where I was lacking in my own skills. Being in an outside environment is always easier to learn because it's more free than a classroom environment.
When I got there in the morning, I was super exhausted, but I decided to put myself in a good mood and act like a team player. I decided that day I was going to work on my lowest character strength, which was zest. I tried to keep my energy up and be a good leader, and I tried to keep a good attitude all day. I feel like I succeeded at all my goals for that day.
I always love working outdoors, but I know that there are a lot of people who do not. Going into the service learning project, I was interested to see how people would react. There was no better way to get to know the people around you like hard work, and it was really nice to get to talk more with a small group and see the character strengths we had just discussed together be exhibited in the outdoors.
Controlled chaos is the best way to get to know a group. Anytime that many moving parts of a community come together for a cause like that, the sort of machine you create is just amazing to be a part of. Speaking for the group, within an hour it didn't even feel like work anymore. It felt like we were just having fun together. It suddenly didn't matter that we barely knew each other, our group and the community.
Even though we had no power to pick which groups we'd be in for the service learning project, it proved to be just another barrier that we overcame as a team. We slowly bonded throughout the day, whether it was through helping each other, sharing background stories, or simply just telling jokes. In the end, we were happy to help with someone's dreams, because great leadership is the ability to make a small dream into a big reality.
Over the course of this quarter, as we've gotten to know each other and in this group and learned about leadership skills, we've matured in our approach to leadership and group dynamics. The things we gained from this class will stay with us as we continue to grow and develop as leaders. We have created lifelong friendships, and we will continue to support each other in all leadership endeavors.